So there are rumors about Errol Spence having, permanent brain damage after his car wrecks, multiple car wrecks, and then obviously going in there with Terrence Crawford. A doctor was on, I don't know how credible this is, but it just made me think. So I'll tell you guys what I saw on Instagram and YouTube. There were these clips of, this boxing channel, and they had a doctor on talking about how Errol Spence seemed to, have this like glassy look in his eyes, didn't look the same as, previous fights. And that was something to note. And saying that, he had previous head trauma. So they think that he has long-term neurological damage. So meaning that, everything that he's gone through, the detached retina, more so, the car crash is what the issue is. The impact that he took from that, his jaw, and then going in there and fighting Terrence Crawford. This doctor is claiming that he saw Errol Spence not look like himself. I think we all could say that Errol Spence didn't really look like himself, especially in the ring, but that's a different story. That could be testament to, how good Terrence Crawford is. But, okay, can I just say, don't comment, stop making excuses for Errol. He lost the fight. I agree. I'm with you on that. I'm just talking about what I've read, what I've seen. People are saying that Errol Spence didn't look like himself. And part of that could be from the weight. Part of that could be from the brain damage that he might have taken, from even past fights. And then in addition, that car accident. And then taking that beating from Terrence Crawford. You don't know where he's at right now. But a lot of people were talking about how his speech is slurred. He's not the same. He blinked when he's blinking. It's like it's really slowed down. But a lot of this was present even before the Terrence Crawford fight and the lead up. Before the fight was even made, he was kind of like that. If you guys watch Sean Porter and Errol Spence, watch this face-to-face interview that they do. If you guys notice and watch Errol Spence answer questions during an interview, it's a lot more clear. It's a lot more easy to understand when Errol Spence is talking. In that interview with Sean, there was very back and forth. They were heated at the time, but Errol was very cognizant and he was replying quickly, and it was easy for him to articulate what he was saying. Nowadays, if you watch Errol Spence, do interviews or whatever the case may be, even against like Danny Garcia and Ugas, so I'm not only making this case for this fight, he was slurring his speech a little bit. It took him more time to answer questions. This is just from, observing his behavior, watching so many Errol Spence interviews. He was sharper back then. His ability to, articulate and be an eloquent speaker was much better before the accident. And, that's what happens. That's what happens when you take punishment, when you get injured, you get tossed from your vehicle, ejected from the car, and then you suffer those injuries. You suffer the brain damage. Obviously, that stuff happens. And then in addition to detached retina. So you can't help but wonder, after that beating from Terrence Crawford, is Errol Spence ever going to really be the same? I don't know, because at the end of the day, he's never taken a beating. Errol Spence has lost fights before. Not in his pro career, but in his amateur and Olympic days. He's lost fights. But he's never taken a beating. That's the difference. We saw Errol Spence's face basically look disfigured. It was almost unrecognizable. That's how bad the beatdown from Terrence Crawford was. And I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for Errol Spence, because who am I to say, oh, he was weight drained, oh, he was, still injured from the car crash, it's still remaining, and he's still feeling those effects. Who am I to say that? I'm not here to talk about all that. I'm here to talk about how those injuries could affect his life long term. That's why I was so willing to talk about retirement, because of everything that he's gone through. Not because he's Errol Spence, and we know he's tough. We know he can fight. We know he can still beat a lot of fighters out there in the boxing game. But is it worth the squeeze in terms of going out there and risking your health? Understanding that you have pre-existing conditions and injuries that could make you more vulnerable in the ring and make your injuries worse and take you out for longer periods of time away from the sport of boxing. That's the kind of stuff you have to think about. And I think from that kind of fight from Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, Errol has to take a lot of time off. He can't go back in that ring in December against anybody, because it's his safety. It's about, think about it. You take a beating like that, you train, you need 2-3 months off. 2-3 months off from now, August, September, October. You're at November already, and you want to fight in December. It's not going to happen. I don't think it happens. And I think it's for the best. I think we should see him about a year off from now. We might have to see him in the summer again at the earliest, because after taking a beating like that, you need to recover if you're a guy like Errol Spence. I don't care how good Errol Spence is. I know he's tough. There's no doubt about that. He's tough. But it's about more than that. It's about his long-term career. If he wants to continue, does he want to continue? Is he going to be the same? I don't think you're ever the same after a beating like that. Could he come back and compete with Terrence Crawford? Absolutely. He's a top-tier pound-for-pound fighter in the sport of boxing, where this is the most talented, era of boxing there's been in a while. And I think that he could definitely make a run. He's Errol Spence. It's just about the health. So that's my concern. That's my take on all the brain damage talk. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. I don't know how true the brain damage thing is. I'm no doctor, but I'm just observing from what I've seen from Errol Spence in the past and what I'm seeing, what I saw right before the Terrence Crawford fight and right after. The slurred speech, the slow reactions, everything like that, the glassy look in his eyes. That's just stuff I've observed. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. But thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
That's going to do it for another NASFIGHT Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.